You should see that there's a recording icon. Does everyone see that? Excellent, thank you. Okay, so so to start off with, welcome. Thank you so much for coming today. We're really excited to have you. I'm thrilled for the opportunity to learn more about our school. We feel so lucky and fortunate to have such a great group of applicants. You are outstanding cream of the crop folks, and we are thrilled to have an opportunity to share what the University of Montana is all about before you make a decision. So really, that's what the purpose is. As we go throughout the day, there's lots of opportunities to ask questions. Please do so. If you need more information, don't hesitate. We are very open and want to share what we are. So I'm going to start the day off just to give you kind of an overview of the plan. So we'll do this welcome. We'll talk, I would imagine, for 40 minutes or so, have time for questions. I want to introduce myself. If you weren't able to come last night, my name is Ryan Meisner. I am a professor here at the University of Montana for the last 15 years. I was born in Missoula. I lived outside and kind of came back and forth. Went to Montana State and did my PhD on the East Coast and worked at Eastern Washington for a while before I came back. I now serve as the program director and co-chair with Sue Ostertag, and I will let her introduce herself briefly, if that's okay.
Certainly. Hello and welcome, everyone. Sue Ostertag. I am a clinical associate professor here and actually have been on campus a little over 19 years. I'm a grad of UMPT and also moved away and ended up coming back to Missoula. This was definitely a destination for me. I'm the director of clinical education, so that's what I'll highlight during this presentation this morning. I'm also a co-chair working with Ryan side by side to I guess keep the wheels turning for UMPT. So welcome everyone, and we look forward to the questions and getting to know you all better today.
Yep. And so after the presentation today, we'll move into the individual interviews and you'll have opportunities to go some breakout sessions as well. I just want to share, these are some pictures of our campus. This is the building that we're housed in. This is right outside our teaching labs, a picture from the spring, and then a nice picture of over the summer of the campus of the university. So there is, I hope you guys can see my cursor. Great. So that's our main campus, kind of housing. The oval is right behind that. Our building is kind of right over here. This kind of gives you an outlook of the rest of the city. I do want to take a moment to make sure that we recognize our leadership. Certainly a big thank you to Dr. Julia Mazzarella as our admissions chair. She did a lot of work in organizing and really helped herd cats to get us to this spot. And certainly Alyssa Waters, our administrative associate, was fabulous as well. The other person I want to recognize in our leadership team is Dr. Steve Fertig, who is our clinic director. Steve was on this call, but I think he might have to step out. He is one of the people interviewing today, and he helps direct those clinical services as well as our integrated clinical experience in terms of the clinic operation of that space. And certainly, I think whenever you talk about a physical therapy program, one of the most important parts are the people. So we have outstanding faculty and staff and fabulous instructors. They are world-class. We have 11 faculty positions that run full-time core faculty lines. We have several clinical positions that do lab teaching assistants in our programs, and they flow between teaching in lab as well as working in clinic. And then Dr. Fertig, our clinic director, also does a considerable amount of teaching. So these folks are fantastic. I also wanted to share, we have over 40 other people that contribute into our program. So there really takes a village to do this process. And we are so fortunate to be on campus and to be able to pull from our fantastic health community in Missoula, as well as the University of Montana campus. We do have adjunct instructors from outside for some areas of expertise. So we do use our reputation and contacts to have some world-class instructors come and teach. And this is just some imaging of our lab facilities on the top. This is our movement science laboratory where we do assessments and work in that lab into teaching and instruction, and our clinical services run through this lab. So we have a good integration, and our research interests of our faculty are very applied, and they translate literally into our own clinic. And this is one of our instructional teaching labs where folks are doing some lecture style right now with Dr. Zonlo, but we'll transition back and forth to manual techniques. I think the University of Montana is incredibly lucky. I feel very lucky to be working at this institution and in this place. It is it's a long-established university that has about 10,000 students. I'm very proud of its growth. One of the parts that's been unique is we have achieved R1 status, which is a very high research activity institution. So we do expenditures over $140 million as an institution. We are housed in the College of Health. We have a new dean who's very supportive and very excited for our program. He meets with our students regularly. He's come to our clinic. He's been treated in our clinic, and he's happy to share that, so I don't have any problems. He loves to tell that story. So he really is enthused and invigorated by our program, and I feel lucky to have that relationship. A lot of programs don't have that connection, and I think that's pretty special. Missoula as a city is fantastic to live in, and it is an attractive city in Montana. It's the second largest. It has about 70,000 people, so it has a good mix of size. It really is an epicenter of arts and entertainment. So there's plenty of things to do. We have a formal downtown with shops and places to go for shows and art. And there's lots of, it's a very active city. So there's plenty of opportunities to engage in physical activities like community races and it's pretty close to a college town too. And the other thing is Missoula is known as the Garden City. We're not that high. We're only 3,000 feet. So it's really pretty temperate compared to the rest of the state. We haven't had much snow. I haven't had to shovel at all this winter yet. So I know the skiers are kind of maybe a little bummed about that, but there is some snow in the mountains because we're right at that spot where usually the city's pretty good and the mountains has lots of recreation in the winter as well. Oops. I'm particularly proud of our program's contributions. And one of the areas of growth that I wanted to give you some sense of is we've had a particular large rise in our scholarship. Last year alone, the University of Montana has been doing a good job too, but in the last year alone, our institution spent $2 million in research funding. Currently, our faculty are engaged in over $14 million worth of extramural grant research. And I was kind of reflecting on my talk I was going to give today, and this represents the history of where I've been at the University of Montana. So this graph has different years, and this is when I started at the University of Montana. And on the left-hand side is a set of counts. And so I put the number of grants that we had submitted or had funding and the number of peer-reviewed publications when I first started. This is an off year, I will grant you. 2009 was, we weren't that low, but man, I think you can really see as time has kind of gone across that our program is really starting to just blossom. Our rank nationally, I think, helps reflect this. We've jumped quite a bit in our standings. We are in the top 20% nationally, and we are well above standards in terms of publications and presentations. So I'm incredibly proud of that. Our research areas, we have fabulous lab facilities. This is, again, the Movement Science Lab. But we also have, we just expanded and added the PALS lab, which is Dr. Julia Mazzarella's space. That involves 2 different bays for pediatric assessments. So they are spaces designed for children. It is a fun place to go into. And so it's very interactive. In the back portion of that laboratory, which is about 800 square feet, is their lab epicenter. They have a conference room, different lab spaces. And she has, I think, 6 of our students and several undergrads engaged in research. This is just an example. We also have laboratory facilities through Dr. Lloyd, Dr. Kittleson, Dr. Willie and I share spaces. Dr. Zonlo does a lot of database research. She doesn't have a lab, but she has the last 5 years of Medicare data. So she has a lot of interesting places to work. So these are some of the areas of research focus. I'm not going to read them off, but we really have a good breadth of experience, and we do integrate our students into research experience so that that funding and that expertise is something you can experience in real time, but also those instructors are the people that are teaching you. So you are getting that taste of people that are experts. I also wanted to highlight why I think physical therapy at the University of Montana is special is our class size. We work hard and we want to stay at a size that fits what our faculty want in terms of relationship with our students. So we are an open door policy. Some programs I've been to or worked at actually have like almost a barrier at the main office. You have to go past the main office to get to faculty. We don't have that. Literally, you can go out down the hall and go to someone's office. 36 is our class size over 3 cohorts. The national average is probably close to 45. And a lot of other R1 institutions in our region have really dramatically changed their student experience with their class sizes. We still have more of an intimate kind of friend, like I think the size is good enough to allow everyone to know each other. I know every student's name, where they're at, and where they're from. The clinical education experience, and so Dr. Ostertag will talk about that too, but I think we're unique that we have 36 weeks. 31 of those are full-time. I believe the national average requires 28 weeks, so we are slightly above that, and we believe in having that experience is integral to your training and readiness for graduation to work in a clinic. So she'll give you details on that, but that's another piece that sets us apart. Our electives, we call them trends classes currently, but they are really meant to be a portion of your training that lets you go into a deeper dive into those areas. And most of those trends classes tend to fit with our faculty expertise. So we have Dr. Lloyd, who's a renowned vestibular researcher. He does vestibular trends. Dr. Willie does renowned running research and bone stress injuries, and he does a running trends. Dr. Mazzarella has had a lot of history of success with pediatrics. She does a pediatrics kind of trends, and those are really meant to be deep dives. So they focus like a clinical education session if you're a professional afterwards. So they're often 2-day experiences that are very in-depth, immersive, and they even will go off campus. So we do interact with Community Medical Center for pediatric labs. So those vary from year to year. Sometimes other popular options we've had have been manipulation, experience with some of those advanced manual skills. We've had advanced therapeutic exercise. We've offered some outside folks to come in and do pelvic floor or women's health as a trends elective to get to deep dives. So we do also offer an individual plan of study. It's called an IPS that you can help fit into some of those trends. If you had an area of interest that fit that wasn't quite, so I can think of someone did sports nutrition. I can think of someone else who wanted to do a specific area of neurologic rehabilitation. You can target a faculty member and ask them if you can do an individual plan of study, and the two of you together make up what you think is about a credit's worth of work, where you have a mentor kind of take you through that, but you can do a bit of a deeper dive and count that as part of your credit. And those usually happen near the end of our didactic program, right before you go on your last clinicals, to get you, you have some of that base knowledge in place, and it's meant to give you more kind of customization of how you go through the program. Realize that our mandate as a accredited program is entry level. So we are going to give you a ticket to go to any part of physical therapy education that you are interested in, be that geriatrics, wound care, occupational health, orthopedics, sports. There's quite a bit, but this is a unique place to give you some extra deeper dive. Other programs that I've worked with maybe do 2 or perhaps 4 credits. So I'm pretty proud of that. There are also options to do some dual degree. We do have arrangements with the public health in our business administration programs where they can do either a certificate in public health. We have, I believe, 6 students pursuing a master's in business administration. And how that works is those courses are often done asynchronously, so they're recorded, and you can work through the the lectures and assignments have some flexibility that can fit where you have holes in your physical therapy or more options in your physical therapy training. Usually our curriculum, there is a link for current students to look at our schedule currently, so you can see all of our classes in terms of where they're at and where they're scheduled. But there are times when you might be outside of your normal assignment for work. For instance, we do ask students to go through an on-site clinical experience. And when they do that, they'll be engaged in our clinic with our instructors. But there's a portion of the class that won't be in our clinic space. It's not big enough to have all 36 at once. So those people have a bit more of time to pursue those IPS or trends offerings or work on these dual degrees. So we've had some good success with that. I do want to highlight that our program has done some renovation. We've done quite a bit of work on our clinic, and we posted, made a brief video, and I just want to do this in part two to show you some of our space. So if you'll bear with me, I'm going to try and play this video, and hopefully the sound, Sue will give me a thumbs up.
We're always pursuing avenues to provide the optimal patient care experience for our clients.
We just lost sound, Ryan. You're muted. There we go.
There, I'm good.
You're good. Let's try the video again.
Opportunities for UMPT students. We are thrilled to showcase the renovations made the last few years. We've updated the waiting area to maximize space and ease of access to better serve clients. The clinic has adopted a more open floor layout that allows for a more efficient use of space and less confinement to treating at tables or private rooms. The new space provides plenty of room for a greater variety of treatment styles and interventions. This summer, we've expanded one of our treatment areas. What was once a single mat table is now 2 independent workspaces designed to enhance both patient care and learning opportunities for UMPT students during their integrated clinical experiences. Whether clients are managing a neurological condition or healing from an orthopedic injury, our upgraded space allows us to better serve our clients and help them meet their functional goals.
Thanks. So you can see that this is a space that's critical to us. I think it is a big portion of why I came to the University of Montana. I had worked at a place that didn't have its own clinic, and I had worked before where there was, and I can tell the difference in the style of attitude in the curriculum and amongst the faculty. To have a clinic on site, literally, we have a bay, like a bank of office of all of our faculty spaces. There's a main office where we have our administrative support in our one of our chair spaces. And then literally our clinic is about 20 feet away from that. So I walk through our clinic regularly, and a lot of our faculty work and consult and spend time seeing students and patients in our space. We do have dedicated clinicians that work there. Outside of that space, another 50 feet away is the New Directions Wellness Center, which includes a gym for people that need extra help to experience exercise and fitness for their health and wellness needs. So for instance, someone may have gone through physical therapy services and they need the next step connection to try and keep being active. And we have that space right next to us. The people who staff that are our students. So we have some student champions that are hired to help with scheduling, coordinating, kind of maintaining the space, but our students will work through that activity, and Sue will talk more about that as well. But this clinic space and its integration is really a key part of what we do at the university. I do want to talk about our curriculum. So we have what's called a blocked format of how we deliver our classes. So currently, you start in the fall semester. You'll go 1-2 years. Again, a fall and spring, so it totals about 33 months. So it's not 3 years. Each semester, we take classes like generally we'll have 6 classes to teach in the semester space. We will split the semester in half to have about 7-ish weeks in the front and back half. So we call it block 1 and block 2. We'll teach 3 of those classes generally, or close to maybe 2 to 4 in the first half. So for instance, we'll often start with anatomy and biomechanics and maybe physical therapy as a profession. So you will focus on a smaller number of courses and smaller number of syllabi and activities to have more of an immersive experience. So I will teach in a way that, like some days I'll teach biomechanics, for instance, which is one of the content areas that I teach. I'll actually lecture or teach in that class twice in a day. And so you will have experience like 14 hours a week of that class. How that works is we don't spend much time reviewing past material. We're always ready to kind of move to the next space. So we always have a kind of a thought construct that we can build off of. And then my class experiences, if I do some lecture, I'll do some lab. So we have a back and forth and trying to keep a very active atmosphere. What's really nice about this is when you have midterms or finals, often if we had in the past, we may have 6 or 8 classes in a semester, trying to fit 8 finals together in practicals and assessments can be very stressful for our students. So we did this with the concept to try and de-stress our students, and they've had a very positive experience, and we've kind of tuned our performance as instructors. We've been doing this for over 10 years. We just surveyed our students this last year. I would say 90% of the students prefer a blocked format. It is very well accepted. People really like it. It keeps the content very fresh. So we're always changing. I've taught in a semester model. When you get to April in that spring of the year, it gets kind of a drag. It's not like that. There's always a new opportunity to change. So we're trying very hard to make this content to support our students' growth and reduce their stress. And so I just want to give you a quick overview of what the curriculum looks like. So in your first year, we have those 2 blocks. So we have the first half of a semester and the second half. And there's a lot of immersive work related to the foundational sciences, anatomy, neuroscience, biomechanics, exercise physiology. There is the introductory examination evaluation. So we start to do we kind of work in manual skills in assessments, talk about professional activities and prepare you for the clinic. And the last classes are really starting to get you to enough hands in place that we do about a unit or 2 of actually systems courses of how to do and pull all of those evaluation techniques into something to create some hypotheses and diagnoses and some intervention. And then you have your first full-time 8-week clinical, and you start to apply those applications. And then we ask you to come back again in your second year, and we have 2 academic semesters put together. So what we're trying to do is give you a volume of usable information, something that's practical to apply it and fit those experiences to fit into that clinical experience, and then learn and layer on top of that. In the spring semester, you will start to do your first immersive integrated clinical experience where you'll go to classrooms in the morning and ICE in the afternoon. So you'll start to have some of that. And then we'll have you on a full-time 8-week again in the summer. This is an experience where last year, again, gaining independence, having more responsibility. And then in the last, we have a fall semester where we're starting to add those trends classes in. It's more mastery of material. We really work on clinical reasoning, and we can use those experiences where you've been in clinic before to really kind of enhance our discussions. And then we have the last experience is a 15-week full-time, kind of where you want to be. And I know Dr. Ostertag will talk more about that, but that's the general format of our curriculum. We do have an emphasis on interprofessional education. Our program has been a leader in this portion of the college's work for over a decade. So Dr. Ostertag has been one of the co-chairs of that committee for quite some time. We are excited to expand that opportunity as we're adding new programs. So occupational therapy will start this coming fall, and the next year we're going to add a physician assistant program, which already complements other existing programs we have, such as public health, social work, speech language. I'm probably forgetting. We have radiology technology. We have other health professions too, but we are looking for more opportunities. The general format of that interprofessional education is to start off with social experiences where you're getting to know other people outside of your own program and expand your net of connections. You will start to discuss where you have expertise in your various areas of knowledge and training. And then we will start to layer on this shared decision-making with mentorship from professors from those different programs coming together to kind of cue you and guide you towards shared collaborative work that includes activities such as going through simulation laboratories that include a mannequin and model related to acute care. So we go through those experiences and you get mentoring and feedback. And then we layer on more decision-making as you go through the program. So I just wanted to highlight one. There are also like interprofessional education opportunities that come up throughout the year, but there are some mandated tasks for that. And another piece that we're adding that will be new next year is we are going to co-convene with our occupational therapy program to teach clinical anatomy in the fall and neuroscience in the spring. So that is done intentionally and will tailor that information. Has some shared opportunity between each programs, but we will start to talk about the interprofessional education and experience and exposure with each of those different professions as they align to what you need to know in those foundational sciences. And we will have professors from both programs to work and kind of partner to take you through that experience. And we hope that will expand your social network to other professions. And it happens right away. So that'll hopefully pull through your entire experience at Montana. Certainly our program outcomes, I'm very proud of these as well. We have a very high graduation rate. If you come in, we do a good job of making sure that people will graduate, and we work really hard with folks to help them have success in their classrooms. And I think that shows in our pass rates. We are doing very well compared this, just to give you a sense, these are a couple different classes and averages over some years. And then a national mean. CAPTE is our accrediting body, so they kind of report all of the different physical therapy programs' performance. I think we do a really good job. I am certainly proud and happy that our class of 24, most of those people that graduated had multiple job offers, and their average starting salary was $80,000 a year. So we're getting people ready, we're getting people job ready, and we're getting them into jobs. I just want to end, this is my last slide. I love Missoula. It's a fantastic place. Montana as a destination for being active. All of our faculty are interested in the same things. We value balance. We want you to experience and socialize together. There is lots of opportunities to talk to our students during the interview day. I encourage you to do that because I think one of the reasons to come to UM is our students are outstanding, and they are probably the best part of our program. We try to develop a very personal and supportive environment. I know all of my student names. I know where they're from. I know what they did. I think you'll feel that when you go through our interview experience. So I appreciate it. I'm going to sign off to Dr. Ostertag and let her start the next piece, but thanks for your attention to my bit.
Thank you, Ryan. I will fill in some of the pieces now and expand upon the clinical education program we have at UMPT. Photos here, myself, I'm the director of clinical education, so I provide oversight to the entire program. Jacqueline Carson, who some of you will meet during your interview process today, she's the associate director. We definitely work side by side. I share with our students that we're kind of the same person. You don't know who to talk to about something, talk to Jacqueline, talk to Sue, because we're always connecting about clinical education. So we have different responsibilities for placement, and we'll talk about that just a little bit here in a minute. Alyssa Waters, who you've met, is definitely a jack of all trades. She's helped run the show, and how things are going today is really a direct result of all the work that she's done. She's also our administrative support basically for the clinical education program. So our students interact with Alyssa to make sure that all their requirements are met and everything's in place before they go off campus or even into our on-campus clinical education experiences. So that's our clinical education team. The faculty is definitely involved with clinical education as well. We report out to everyone. We're responsible to the faculty and all of our students to ensure that accreditation standards are met. And as Ryan pointed out, we want to graduate students. We need to graduate students that are really general practitioners, that you can go anywhere as an entry-level PT. And this team in front of you really is responsible for that. And so we counsel with people, we advise, we mentor, we guide to make sure that all those needs are met. All right, Ryan, we can move on. So I just mentioned a little bit this entry-level clinical and professional skills, that the building of that and that foundation is really a big part of what we do with our clinical education experiences. We also have an objective to meet a breadth of training. And what I mean by this is we want to make sure that you have both an inpatient experience and an outpatient experience. So we work really hard to make sure that those two things are met within the first 2 full-time clinicals. Ryan explained you have a full-time clinical in the summer between first and second year, and then also again between the second and third year. So my goal is if we can get you into an inpatient experience, either first or second, and an outpatient experience, either first or second, then by the time we get to the 15-week experience, that final great big clinical, you get to choose. It's more individualized. So for example, I have a student right now that their goal is to complete a pediatric focused clinical for their 15-week. I know that that will be an outpatient experience, most likely. That's really the best way to do that. So I need to make sure she has that inpatient experience either in the first or second year so that her 15-week clinical is exactly what she wants. So we really work closely with each of our students to make sure the accreditation and hopefully those individualized experiences or individualized the passions and interests that you have are met to the best of our abilities. Ryan already mentioned we have 36 weeks. I'll go over that in another slide here in a second. The 3 full-time experiences we've explained. You also have 3 part-time experiences, and Ryan mentioned this a little bit, this integrated clinical experience, or ICE, as you hear us talk about it. 2 of those part-time experiences are done right here in our own clinic. And so that's that afternoon experience, 2 days a week for about 5 hours a day for 1 block during your second year and for 1 block during your third year. And with those experiences, we make sure that to the best of our abilities, one of those experiences more ortho related, more traditional outpatient ortho. And the other experience in ICE, one of those semesters, is with one of our neuro and complex medical specialties. So we have we have Troy, Adam, and Stephanie in our UMPT clinic that both work with folks with neurological conditions and complex medical. So we're going to make sure that you get that ortho experience and then also a neuro complex medical experience on site with our faculty, with the people that you interact with in class. And what's super unique about that, we use a 4-on-1 model for that ICE. So when you're in our clinic with our faculty, you're also working really closely with 3 of your colleagues from the class. And so all 4 of you are in, for instance, a Tuesday and Thursday afternoon ICE, working with Troy perhaps, and you get to interact with each other as you treat patients. And this model, I think, is terribly unique, and I love the collaborative nature of it. I think it takes a little bit of the anxiety and angst out of working with patients because you're right there with one of your peers. And you may be the lead PT student working with them, but you've got someone right here in your back pocket that you know and trust to help you through that process. So that's our ICE. The other part-time experience is quite unique. And what we do is we have in spring of your first year, you'll complete 5 hours as a minimum requirement, but you'll complete at least 5 hours of volunteering and service-oriented work. And what we do with that is, as part of our professional development process, we want you to help address social determinants of health or social health determinants in the community of your choice. And so this is really student driven. Examples might be that you had a student that actually completed their hours back in Libby, Montana. When they went home for spring break, they volunteered at the local food bank. And so they were able to kind of get inside that community-based service, provide hours and volunteer, make the world a better place, and then they come back to class and reflect on it. And what I want to happen with that part-time experience is I want our students to understand the impact they make on the social health determinants, and ultimately, what does that do for their community or the individuals they serve? So those part-time experiences are unique, I think, to UMPT, and we've got our ClinEd team and all of our faculty to help guide that. The last bullet point here, our affiliations extend across the country. So we do have opportunities for students to go back east. We have sites down towards Florida. We have Hawaii, we have Alaska. Most of our clinical sites, however, are in the Pacific Northwest. So even though I can tell you we have sites all over the country, a majority of our students land in Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, Idaho, Washington, California. We have sites in Arizona as well. These affiliated clinical locations are sites that we have contracts with. We have agreements with them that they'll actually provide the learning experiences you all need. And so we are always, that's always flexing, and we're looking for new opportunities all the time and really trying to maximize the experiences that our students have when they're off campus. Thank you, Ryan. So like I mentioned, we have hundreds and hundreds of clinical sites to choose from. That said, as a first-year student, you don't get to pick from 500 sites. Those are really, some of those are really highly specialized and only accept third-year students. So you can see as a first-year student, we want to provide a more generalized experience for you with that first 8-week clinical. So we're talking summer between first and second year. So you're going to have the least amount of options. What we do with that first experience is in March and April of this year, I will work to reserve about 40 to 45 spots for our incoming class. And so when you all come in the fall, I'll present to you these 40, 45 options, and then you'll have the ability to choose from those. You rank it, there's an algorithm inside our software that places you, but that's the least amount of options you'll have to choose from. As a second-year student, now you have more options. So as Ryan mentioned, when our curriculum, as a second-year student, you'll complete really a lot of really clinically relevant coursework. Pediatrics, neuro rehab, your orthopedic series. You'll have a lot of clinical reasoning, clinical medicine under your belt. So as a second-year student now, you have a lot of choices. I don't reserve sites for you. You get to go into our software, meet with Jacqueline and I, and choose your top 2 or 3 spots. And then Jacqueline and I reach out to clinical sites on your behalf to try to secure those. As a third-year student, you can become more specialized. You have all of your clinical coursework done, and perhaps I have a student right now that's terribly interested in acute care, and all they wanted for their 15-week experience was a full ICU acute care experience, and that's where they're going. I was able to make sure that during the first and second year, that student completed all the required coursework for clinical education, so that third-year experience could be exactly what they wanted. We have highly specialized orthopedic clinics that focus on outdoor sports, for instance. Running might be another one. We have experiences that might offer some opportunities to participate in research as well. So that third-year clinical, everybody loves our students, and they're usually more than happy to accept a third-year student. We're sending one student out to Mass General in Baltimore. That's a new clinical site, and I'm really excited to hear how that goes. All right, and so I just broke these next 2 slides down. I think we've covered this pretty darn well, but these are your 3 full-time experiences. So if we were to lay your curriculum out, as Ryan did earlier, that's just a different way to look at it. As we lay that curriculum out, you'll have that first full-time clinical experience between your first and second year. It's community-based. It's either inpatient or outpatient. Your second clinical, again, 8 weeks, full-time in the summer between second and third year. And this is going to be opposite of what you did for your first clinical. If you had an inpatient acute care at Deer Lodge, or excuse me, inpatient acute care in Hamilton, maybe at Bitterroot Health, then I know for your second clinical, and you know, you need to choose an outpatient clinical site. All right, so we need to make sure those two things are met. And then the final full-time clinical experience, this is a setting of your choice, and like I mentioned, can be more specialized. And then the next slide are those part-time clinicals that I mentioned already. So spring of your first year, those alternative clinical experience hours that are really driven by you and community outreach based. And then you have your ICE experience second year spring and third year fall here on campus. I think I'll mention, Ryan, before we move the slide, the bottom bullet on both the green and the brown icons there, you have alternative clinical experience hours also that are required in new directions. So Ryan mentioned briefly, we have this inclusive, supportive environment where individuals with disability and chronic disease can come exercise and work on their health and wellness. We have some pretty high-tech equipment in there so that folks with that use power wheelchairs, for instance, can exercise, or manual wheelchairs, or have maybe need for a caregiver. It's a really supportive, inclusive environment. And our students are required to complete, I think it is 6 different afternoons when they're not in the clinic completing the ICE experience, they're in new directions working basically with these individuals with disability and chronic disease. Performing evidence-based outcome measures, helping develop exercise programs, working on communication, and also providing a social experience for the people they work with, not just themselves, but also the individuals they serve. All right, and that's it in when it's all put together. Thanks, Ryan. All right, we've talked about this. We can't talk about it enough, it seems, but really want to make sure that we covered all bases here. The collaboration we talked about, both ortho and neuro and complex medical experiences will be achieved through that ICE. And then the timing again in your spring and fall years between second and third year. What I love about our program is once you become a second year student and you hit spring of the second year, you have a clinical that semester, you have a clinical in the summer, you have a clinical in the fall, and then you hit that 15-week clinical as basically a capstone to your experience in education. It flows very well and our students are super prepared. For today's schedule, I believe that Alyssa and Julia have sent this out, but Ryan and I wanted to make sure that you all use or access the student breakout rooms. If you didn't get a chance to talk to our students last night, or even if you did, please feel free to jump into those breakout rooms. And it's my understanding there's no faculty or staff there. It's really just our students sharing their experience and answering any questions that you have. So we've got a group this morning, we've got a group this afternoon, and the recording today will be shared with anyone that wasn't able to make it this morning. So I think, Ryan, we can stop the recording and move on to questions. And Ryan, please fill in anything that I missed.